Okay, so you're here for the deep dive, which means you want to like cut through all the clutter, right? You want the good
Oh,
stuff. And you've sent us this YouTube video. Want to get to $100,000 in 2025. Here are 7 ways. Catchy title. It's from Iman Gadzhi's channel. But look, we're not just chasing trends here. We're going deep on his roadmap for online business models. Let's see what's really worth taking away from this.
yeah, absolutely. And one thing that stood out to me right away in the video was this idea of a progression, a journey, if you will. It's not about finding that one like best business model that everyone should be doing. It's more about figuring out which model fits you,
Yeah.
where you are in your journey, what skills you already have. It's personal.
I like that. Finding the right fit. And the video really drills down on 3 core ideas that are like the foundation for building wealth. They call it equity, leverage, and vacation. Okay, let's break these down a bit.
Yeah.
Equity. The video makes the point that it's all about ownership. It's about having a piece of something, whether it's a business, an asset, something that's going to generate income over time. Like, that's how you build real wealth, right?
Yeah.
Not just trading your time for money.
Yeah, and what's so powerful about this concept of equity is that it kind of shifts your whole perspective. Instead of just thinking about earning an income, you're now thinking about building something, creating something with real value. Like, think about it. A freelancer, they're basically selling their time, but a business owner, they're building an asset that could potentially run without them constantly being there and could even be sold at some point. It's a totally different ballgame.
Totally different mindset for sure. Okay, so then there's leverage. And the video presents leverage as something that's accessible to everyone. It's about using your skills, your network, even your money to really amplify your impact. Basically, making your resources work harder, smarter, not harder.
Right. Right. And if you think about leverage, it's all about creating a multiplier effect. Like, how can you put systems in place? How can you bring in other people? Use technology in a way that allows you to achieve so much more than you could ever do on your own. Scaling without having to constantly increase your own input, that's the key to growth in any business.
Makes sense. All right, and then we have vacation. Now, of course, we all love the image of relaxing on a beach, but in the video, vacation represents something bigger.
Mm.
It's the ability to step away from your business for a while without your income completely drying up. That suggests a certain level of maturity in your business, a level of automation.
Yeah, and that raises a really important point about each of these business models we're going to be talking about. How well does each one let you separate yourself from the day-to-day operations while still bringing in money? That's how you figure out if it's a good fit for you long term and what kind of lifestyle it will give you.
All about freedom and flexibility in the end, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so the video kicks things off with content marketing.
Mm.
They say it's like the most basic entry point for making money online. Now, you hear content marketing, you might picture all those fancy influencer videos, but the video actually paints a much simpler picture.
Yeah, it's not about going viral or having super high production quality at this stage. It's more about just consistently putting out content on social media. Could be anything, really, from funny dog videos to meme accounts. Just got to establish a presence. Get yourself out there.
Right. And just think about how many accounts you see doing exactly that every single day. The video points out that a lot of these accounts make money through the platforms themselves, like with the TikTok Creator Fund, or through shout-outs and links in their bios, often leading to things like mobile games. Might not be a ton of money, but it's a starting point.
And what I find interesting here is how easy it is to get started with this. All you really need is a social media account and some time. The money might not be huge at first, but the real value is in learning how the platforms work, figuring out what audiences respond to, and starting to build a following. And as we'll see, that becomes super valuable later on.
Yeah, actually, this reminds me of something I tried back in the day when social media was still kind of new. I played around with growing Instagram accounts, built up the followers, did some promo posts, even sold a few accounts. It wasn't like a real business long term, but it gave me my first taste of online income and taught me a ton about how those platforms work.
That's perfect because it shows that even though things have changed a lot since then, the core idea remains the same. Starting an account, building an audience, that gives you an asset, a network that you can leverage as you move into more complex business models.
Which brings us to the next step in the video's roadmap, affiliate marketing. I'm sure you've seen this online. You click a link to buy something, and the person who shared that link gets a cut. The video uses the example of recommending a book on Amazon with an affiliate link.
Exactly. With affiliate marketing, you're basically earning a commission for recommending other people's products or services. And the video makes a good point about how different commission structures can be. Amazon might have pretty low percentages, but other programs, especially those in the software as a service world, or SaaS as they call it, or subscription models, those can actually be way more lucrative in the long run.
And they highlight that the real power of affiliate marketing comes from combining it with an audience you've already built. So that could be your social media following for your content marketing efforts, an email list, or even just your personal network. You got to have someone to recommend those products to.
And there's this clever tactic of offering free, valuable resources like, templates, checklists, guides, whatever, in exchange for people using your affiliate links. It's a win-win because you're giving your audience real value and naturally weaving in your recommendations.
Smart. The video makes a distinction, though, between those who focus entirely on affiliate marketing, like building huge review websites and just chasing those commissions, and those who use it more strategically alongside other ventures. Sounds like that second approach is more sustainable and authentic, wouldn't you say?
I'd agree with that. And if we tie this back to the videos framework, what's important about affiliate marketing is that it's one of the first models where you start to see leverage and that vacation element really working together, especially if you're promoting products or services with recurring revenue.
So you can potentially earn while you sleep. Now that's the dream. And yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I still dabble in affiliate marketing, but only when it truly aligns with stuff I use and actually recommend. If I believe in a tool or service, why not share it, right? But moving on, the next business model the video talks about is offering digital services. This is where you're directly selling your skills and expertise online.
And this is where a lot of people start to see some real consistent income online. The video focuses on skills like copywriting, sales, paid advertising, email marketing, all those digital skills that are in high demand these days. They're absolutely right when they say that the demand often outweighs the supply.
Yeah, and you can make some serious money with these skills too. They use copywriting as an example, saying that good copywriters can charge hundreds, even thousands of dollars for things like writing emails or Facebook ads. Now, I know that might sound crazy to some people, but when you think about the return on investment a business can get.
Yeah, that's the key. The video mentions how much of an impact these services can have. They use the stat that email marketing can drive up to 30% of revenue for e-commerce businesses. That just shows you how valuable someone who can write good emails is. If you can show a client that you can directly increase their revenue, you're worth your weight in gold. They even mentioned the potential to earn a percentage of the revenue you generate for your clients.
Wow, yeah, that's a whole other level. And the video emphasizes that you don't necessarily need years of formal education to learn these skills.
Ugh.
They suggest that just a few weeks or months of dedicated self-education can be enough to pick up a valuable in-demand skill.
True, but there is a downside to this model, and they acknowledge that in the video. You're essentially trading your time for money. You're a one-person show, and your income is limited by how many hours you can work and what you personally can do. You're not building equity in a larger business.
So that leads us to the next logical step according to the video, going from offering individual digital services to building an agency. So
Yeah.
how does that transition solve the one-person show problem?
Well, the agency model is all about scaling by bringing other people into the mix. You're leveraging their skills and expertise and stepping away from the day-to-day tasks. So using that email marketing example again, instead of you writing every single email for clients, you'd build a team of freelance email marketers.
Gotcha. So you become more of a manager, right?
Yeah.
The video talks about charging your clients a higher rate and then paying your team a portion of that. They call it a win-win because the contractors get consistent work and the clients get high-quality service.
Exactly. And the beauty of this model is that it allows you to scale because you're not limited by your own time anymore. You can take on more clients, build a bigger business. Your main focus becomes finding leads, closing deals, onboarding clients, and making sure your team delivers.
And here's where we see those core concepts we talk about really come together: equity, leverage, vacation. The video points out that with an agency, you're building something with real value. As you gain more clients and build a reputation, your agency itself becomes more valuable. You're leveraging the skills of others, and you have the potential to take more time off because your business isn't completely dependent on you.
Right. The video does mention that selling an agency can be tricky, but all those intangible things you build, your reputation, your network, your access to high-value clients, those are all forms of equity that you accumulate over time.
Okay, so we've gone from basic content marketing to monetizing an audience with affiliate marketing to selling our own skills and then scaling those skills by creating an agency. Where do we go from there? Well, The video talks about creating digital products.
Yeah, this stage usually comes after you've built up expertise in a certain area, maybe through offering services. It's about taking that knowledge and experience and packaging it into something you can sell over and over again. Things like online courses, ebooks, templates, group coaching programs. They give examples from weight loss to music production, all sorts of things.
So you're taking that specialized knowledge that you might have been selling as a service and turning it into a product that can reach way more people.
But the video also stresses that to be successful with digital products, you got to have real expertise and solid systems for delivering the product and supporting customers.
For sure. And it's important to understand that while the potential reach of a digital product is huge, the perceived value of just information is often lower than the value of personalized implementation, which is what you get with agency services. That's why agencies can often charge more. But the video says that if you create a really great digital product that delivers real value, it can be super scalable in the long run, even if the initial creation and marketing takes some effort. Okay, so from digital products, the video takes a turn to what they present as almost the opposite, physical products. And they're very upfront about this being one of the toughest online business models to get started with.
Absolutely. They're very clear about the hurdles involved in building a successful physical product brand. And it's important to note that they're not talking about drop shipping here. They're talking about creating and selling your own high-quality products for the long term.
And they do highlight the potential rewards if you can make it work. They use Allbirds shoes as an example, a business that's built a brand that's bigger than the founder, where production can be scaled up massively, and the company itself becomes a valuable asset that can be sold.
But they're also realistic about the downsides. It takes a lot of time, energy, and money. The host of the video even shares a story about investing almost $1 million in a physical product brand, so they're speaking from experience.
Yeah, that really puts things into perspective. The video explains that the upfront costs for things like inventory, manufacturing, and marketing can be a huge barrier for most people. They use an eyewear business as another example, showing how you constantly need to reinvest in stock, which can slow down your path to profitability.
It's definitely not for the faint of heart. But their takeaway is that while it's difficult, launching a physical product brand can be a very valuable and sellable business model, but it's something you do later in your career when you have the resources and the experience to handle it.
Makes sense. All right, so we've climbed this ladder of online business models, and finally, we reach what the video calls the Holy Grail software. Sounds like the ultimate goal.
They present it as the ultimate integration of all the elements we've talked about. You own a valuable digital asset. You often need to have serious tech skills or a great team. You're essentially productizing a service. And you have the potential to build a strong brand. It's like the peak of the digital entrepreneurial journey.
But it also comes with the highest barriers to entry, right? The video emphasizes that you often need even more capital and specialized skills than you would for a physical product business.
Absolutely. But the potential payoff is also huge. You can have recurring revenue through subscriptions, build a ton of value in a short amount of time. The video paints this picture of a perfect scenario where your software is so valuable that people happily pay for it every month without even knowing who owns it.
So in the end, the video's message is clear. There's no one best business model. It's about finding the right model for you, for where you are in your journey.
Yeah, it's not about chasing some magic bullet. It's about understanding this progression of business models and figuring out which one fits your skills, your resources, your risk tolerance.
And what's really great is that each stage builds on the one before it. You can use the skills, knowledge, and audience you've built along the way to propel yourself forward. It's not a bunch of random decisions, it's more of an evolution.
That's a great way to put it, an evolution.
So as you've been listening to us go through all this, have you thought about where you fit into this whole picture? What are your skills, your resources, your risk appetite?
Yeah, and that leads to a final question for you to ponder. Looking at this whole spectrum of business models, which one feels like the most logical next step for you? And maybe more importantly, which one excites you the most? What could you start doing today to explore that path? That's something to really think about.
And that's a wrap on another deep dive. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's been great.